Cancers, what is up? It is your girl Niara. I am back. I am back. Let's get into March, okay? But before we do, go ahead and grab your notebooks, grab your pens, get your beverages, get your snacks, whatever you need to get comfortable so we can go ahead and get into this month's vibe, okay? Moment of transparency. Now that we're through the first week, how do you all feel? Honestly, how do you all feel? And yes, I'm an astro girly, right? I'm an astro girly. I'm an intuitive girly, but I still feel the energies. I still feel all the shifts, and I'm still going through those energies and shifts with you as well. And so for me, oh my goodness, I have to remind myself, girl, Jupiter is in the first. Because I'm telling you, I've been having my way with the snacks. I have been eating so good, y'all. Oh my God. And then I got off my routine, my workout routine for a week. And today I started back. So I'm really excited to be starting my fitness journey back. But let's just talk about this week because, it opened up with the lunar eclipse in Virgo. But we still had aspects going on with that, right? We had the sun opposing that lunar eclipse. Mercury was also retrograde, and so that really affected this lunar eclipse immensely because Virgo's ruler is Mercury. Mercury is sitting over there in Pisces and retrograde. So I'm still dealing with all of that too. And then we're having the moon, it's squared Uranus, right? Oh my goodness. The moon squared Mars. All while this eclipse was going up. So when I tell you, look, if anybody said the wrong thing to you and you went off, it is what it is. You finally got that truth that Cancer's been holding back this entire time. Now you know. Now you got it. Because even me, I was speaking my truth, and it did not go very well with the party involved. You know what I'm saying? However, towards the end of the week, we were able to kind of come together and, talk things out and talk things over and get better for understanding. Still rocky, but we're getting better with that communication because sometimes things just got to come up, As an astrologer, I do watch other astrologers, give their take on things. And I've heard some of them just say, hey, don't say too much. Hold off until the end of March to really say what you have to say. When you're having a transit, or I shouldn't say a transit, but an aspect such as the moon square Uranus, the moon square Mars, hold what back? If it's meant to come up, it's just gonna come up, and there's nothing that you can do about it but just speak your truth and honor it. Because again, I tell you all the time, there's nothing arbitrary about the way the cosmos move, right? It's all synchronistic. It's all building this arc. It's all building the story. So if you felt those energies, for some of you, you just blurted it out, let it out. Very blunt conversations, especially with the lunar eclipse happening in Virgo. Extremely blunt conversations. Some of you could have been feeling those energies and being very blunt, a while ago. Especially with you being a Cancer and being intuitive, you could already be feeling that energy deeply, immensely already, and having these sporadic truth-telling sessions prior to the lunar eclipse even happening, right? So even for me, I was going through those motions and I'm feeling this energy out, and a part of me was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said it. And another part of me was like, it was the truth and it needed to be said. I need to honor myself. I need to, stand in my authenticity, whatever that may looks like, and whatever comes out of it is just whatever comes out of it. Like, you just can't be afraid to walk down that corridor, as I talked about last month. So let's just, with me, because your girl was like, the universe was like, okay, but you knucking and bucket, because boy, I was like, we got to get out of here, because you're really taking me through this. Like, really, but your girl back. We're good. And I'm back with March's vibe. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get focused. There's so much going on in March, right? Alrighty, so I'm sure you saw the title. It is, continuing the theme that we had last month. And so this month's title is, Embodied Authority, when Destiny Demands Structure. So again, if you see me look up, down, left, right, I'm referencing my notes that are in front of me. I am not cross-eyed nor cockeyed, okay? So let's get into it. Let's continue this thing. All right, Cancers, get your pens, get your notebooks. Let's go. All right. So again, February asked you again. Take that back. January, really turned your situation upside down, because you really had to start looking at your foundation, because your foundation did not match the expanding you, where the universe is, amplifying your life right now, Cancer. It's really your year where it's all about you. So January started with reshaping your foundation so that it can be properly laid with the new expanding you, right? And then February asked you, what you believe about your destiny, about your future, about yourself, about your value, right? And so now March is asking you, if you're built for this, if you're really built for what you have been dreaming, for what you have been asking for, right? So March is going to be here to hold that mirror up and be like, okay, you say this, you really want it, right? So again, here, you pray for the expansion, right? You ask for the alignment. You ask for your life to make sense. So that's why March opened up the way it did, especially after January and February's transits and activations and that solar eclipse we had last month. So, tonight we're going to not just be talking astrology, Cancer. We're going to be talking about the corridor of transformation that you are walking through right now, pushing yourself through this. And we talk about alignment, right? So you ask for alignment because we dream, we envision, right? We believe that we can have and you can, right? And so you don't think about what it takes, the structure, the commitment, the showing up, even when you don't want to, even when the days are testing you, and still hopping back on and doing what you need to do, right? So we're going to be talking about all of that, because all this chaos is not really chaos, it's really architecture, Cancers. And so again, let's go back to that Virgo eclipse, right? Because that's where March began. It began with the Virgo lunar eclipse. So for you, Virgo rules that third house. So we're talking about your thought patterns, your early education, the way you kind of scanned your surroundings and how you process that, where you learned to communicate, where you kind of created your filter of what was appropriate and what wasn't, what was the smart thing to do versus the risky or the dumb thing to do, right? And with Virgo there, you don't want to embarrass yourself. With Virgo ruling that third house, it's like, I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'm going to make sure I'm dotting my I's, I'm crossing my T's, I'm checking my list 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times. That's just the thought process that you have, and it's been quietly humming in the background this entire time. Even as an adult, it has still shaped the way you move, shaped the way you think, in your thought patterns. And so where you're going now, it's like these thought patterns, they don't serve a purpose. And I wouldn't necessarily say they don't serve a purpose. I take that back. It's more so, can you allow room for more knowledge? Can you learn a new way of doing something? Are you okay with someone else's? Because again, that eclipse activated your ninth house as well. And we know that the ninth house is about big picture thinking, right? It's about philosophy. It's about long distance travel, as opposed as the third house is about short distance travel, right? So are you okay with allowing someone else to come into your world and, give you a different perspective? Are you okay with that? How will you incorporate that? How will you allow this to expand your world? Because if you're still having that small town thinking or that early thinking, how is that going to reflect in your career when you're building or meeting these people to expand your partnerships, right? How is that going to look when you can't take constructive criticism and start to apply it? Or when you have something to say and maybe fearing like, oh, I don't have enough education, or I'm not the brightest person in the room, I shouldn't say this, I shouldn't say that. Again, I don't want to embarrass myself. So if you're not going to put yourself out there just to gain that experience, then are you really ready for these big pictures, these big movies that you have been playing in your head for quite some time? Right? So again, this lunar eclipse exposed emotional truths, Cancers, and forced endings in the area of your life that hit on those themes of, those thought patterns are just outdated and they need an upgrade. So the third house governs, again, communication, thinking, patterns, truth-telling, local environments, your siblings, the stories you tell yourself. And so when you add on the aspects, right? So let's talk about the moon opposing the sun here. Because this is the backbone of this lunar eclipse, of that lunar eclipse, I should say, because it has already happened. But you're still feeling the effects of it. And so moon in Virgo in the third. Cancers, that is emotional versus the logic, details, truth, communication, all coming in, right? And so now we're talking about that and how it compares to your belief systems, because the sun is opposing that. The sun is in the ninth house. So it's talking about your belief system, your faith, your long-term vision, your spiritual truth. This opposition is creating, tension around fact and beliefs. How is the new you? My nose itching, guys. So again, that opposition is creating a tension of, you've expanded, you have this new identity. Do your beliefs match that? Are you going to allow room for growth? Are you going to allow room for your mind to be expanded, your philosophy to be expanded? Because you are very intuitive, but honey buns, there are other people that are out there that are just smarter. They have more resources, they have more information, and they can really help you along the way. But with that being said, are you going to feel comfortable in these rooms? So the sun in the ninth house opposing that lunar eclipse in Virgo in the third is wanting you to expand with the new you, to upgrade your outdated thinking, Cancers. And so the third house, it could have played out with you revealing something that you just no longer could believe in anymore, or coming to terms with a thought pattern that was just no longer serving you, right? So you could be coming to an understanding like, you know what, I can't think like this anymore. I can't continue to allow this type of thought to dictate my life, because it's either hindering you or it's elevating you. And with this home, with your 10th house already being activated with regards to career, reputation, public recognition, visibility, your legacy, now is the time for you to reevaluate these things, right? And so you're going to be noticing even now, and even, months even within the next 6 months, you're still going to be noticing how your behaviors are still changing. Because our body, intuitively, a change needs to be made, but sometimes the mind, that ego thing, it doesn't really want to allow you to it want to keep you safe, because that's just how the mind works, right? It wants to keep you safe. So you have to get your mind caught up with this big picture thinking. You have to get your mind to understand, like, yes, I'm an intuitive being, but I also need to be able to be in rooms with individuals who know more, who have more, who can be a mentor to me, but I also feel comfortable enough to share my ideas or ask questions. Again, you don't want to have that Virgo mindset in the third of, oh, I don't want to embarrass myself by asking a question. It would be better for you to ask the question to get the answer that you need than to not ask and then not have the information that you need, and you really end up looking crazy. So again, the moon and the sun opposing there. Again, small thinking versus big. Your early education versus a more elevated, philosophical, learning could come from, or this information could come from individuals who share a different background than you. They're culturally different. They're racially different. Their spiritual beliefs are different. You can take a deep dive down some type of spiritual, subject and then expand your mind. Or they may give you another idea on how to do something. Will you just not listen to them thinking that you know best, or just keep going over and over in your mind analyzing these things, okay? And so next we're going to move into that moon square Mars. This is where things get intense, Cancers, okay? Because this is the emotion that triggers the eclipse. Mars is confrontation, it's drive, it's initiative, it's impulsive. And a square is tension, Cancers. And when these two meet, it can create emotional reactivity, arguments, finally speaking up on something that you suppressed. It's like your frustrations you couldn't take it anymore, and you literally exploded. For some of you, y'all probably really did explode. So when this is happening across Virgo and the Pisces asking, it's like you were really trying to like suppress it, but it could no longer be contained. So here conversations probably were very blunt, saying things that you would normally keep inside. The lid got blown right off of that. So now this person really knows how you feel. Or this could have been someone provoking you to get a reaction. And I'm telling you, when they got that reaction, it wasn't the one that they wanted. I can tell you that. This is you finally stop being polite and you start speaking up on things. Again, the moon can talk about suppressed emotions, suppressed feelings. And with it squaring Mars, Mars ain't suppressing a damn thing. Mars gonna pull up on you. You feel me? Like, so again, all those emotions that you were trying to keep suppressed, trying to be polite. That moon squaring Mars, all that emotional, I don't want to say gunk, but emotional gunk coming to the front. How you've always felt about a situation or a person. It came out. You spoke your mind, Cancer. And then we have the moon square Uranus. This is the shock value or factor of this eclipse, Cancer. Uranus is a disruptor. Uranus brought realizations, truth, unexpected news. liberation from something that was stagnant. And so for the square, it was, emotionally you felt like sudden clarity. I can't tolerate this dynamic anymore. The mental loop stopped playing here. Again, that's that Virgo. Again, we're having this lunar, this new moon, this lunar eclipse is literally happening this full moon lunar eclipse is happening in Virgo. So again, the mental loops stop playing here. With accepting the truth. You're saying something, someone's saying something, and it comes out. Because Uranus is in Gemini right now, and that is your 11th house. So for you, this could have been thoughts around like your social circles, Cancers, your future path. Meaning that your groups can change. Sudden realizations about your friends, about your long-term plans and vision, about your direction, about the mindset that you can no longer take with you because it's not helping you at all. This aspect asks you to really confront your mind. With the way it has been slowly operating, with the way you're seeing your long-term vision, because 11th house is about long-term vision. It's not just about friends. And when you really want to talk about 11th house, we're talking about friends and networks and allies that are really going to be able to push you forward. We're not just talking about your friends from childhood or your friends that you've been friends with for a long time. The 11th house are friends with purpose. Friends that are in alignment with who you see yourself being and becoming. These people know something. They have resources. And you all collaborate in that manner. So with the moon squaring Uranus there, you're realizing like these people, some of my friends, I've outgrown these people. They say something and you immediately get a sour taste in your mouth. Or you share something with them and you see how they react to it. And you're like, oh, okay. So you're really not here for my growth. You really don't want to see me shine. Or you start sharing ideas with your inner circle, and you start to realize like their mindset isn't as active or forward thinking or progressive as yours. And so now you're wanting to elevate your friend groups or your social circles with that moon square Uranus aspect happening here. So this Virgo lunar eclipse brought a lot to the forefront. We're talking about friends. We're talking about where you've been holding back, not been wanting to speak up. We're talking about how your mind is expanding with the new you. But there is a saving grace for all of this moon lunar eclipse chaos, right? Because we do have the moon sextiling Jupiter. And this was the protective grace, Cancer. It really was. Because Jupiter expands and protects. And it's in your sign of Cancer. And it is exalted in Cancer. Cancer has rolled out the red carpet for Jupiter. Jupiter loves being in Cancer because of Cancer's nurturing vibe. Makes everything comfortable and home. Jupiter can really get into that sign of Cancer and really stretch out. And amplify and amplify. So for Cancers, look, be careful with that food. I'm telling you, Jupiter in the first, honey, you be careful, all right? Be mindful of your diet and things of that nature if that is important to you, because Jupiter in Cancer, honey, it will increase the appetite, okay? So let's continue. So this aspect connects Cancer's, third house truth to your first house identity and expansion. So even if the eclipse felt chaotic, Jupiter sextile means, your truth is now expanding and it's guiding you forward here towards personal expansion, emotional growth as a tool and a weapon for you to be who you are unapologetically, for you to be able to absorb and take hold of all these blessings. But again, Jupiter is one of those planets, it amplifies whatever you focus on, whatever you think your truth is. So if your truth is, I can't do this, or I can't blah blah blah, whether you believe you can or you can't, Jupiter is going to amplify that and magnify that. Yes, Jupiter is a planet of blessings, but it's also a planet of magnification. So you definitely want to really understand and really kind of get a good sense of who you are and who you are becoming, because it is so important. Because yes, during this time, it was very uncomfortable, but it is aligning you with your true destiny. And again, what do you decide for yourself? Do you move scared? Do you do it anyway? Do you just tell yourself self-limiting beliefs? I don't have enough. That's that Virgo. That's that third house mentality. Wanting things to be so perfect. And knowing that there's beauty in just starting. So the blessing ends. So this eclipse kind of ends with a really good sweet note with the sextile to Jupiter there, because it's all about your expansion, and it's trying to guide you towards that personal growth and that emotional growth, as well as that emotional maturity and authenticity. This is about your brand. This is about showing up authentically yourself, right? So again, these are some amazing energies that was an amazing energy to round out that lunar eclipse that we are having in Virgo here, right? And again, when we're comparing that or coupling that with that lunar eclipse, this is about communication, because that's the house that Virgo governs for you as a Cancer, right? It's about that communication. And then we still got to address the fact that Mercury was retrograding here. Again, communication. So this is about reprogramming your mind. The universe really wants you to see the truth you believe about yourself. Is it really tearing you down? Is it building you up? I mean, what you believe you are, Cancer. You right? So the dream you see for yourself, is it really truth, or was it just a story? Are these things true about you, or are they just something that you have been telling yourself repeatedly because of you're afraid or you're fearful of something, right? So the hidden gift with the Jupiter, sextiling this eclipse, it really was a growth portal. Even with the Mercury retrograding, growth portal. Because again, like I said, within the next 6 months, you're going to become clearer with your thinking. New opportunities are going to start coming into your life because you're going to be able to communicate better. You know who you are. It's almost like having that elevator speech ready to go. Knowing what you want to say. Being very confident in who you are. Being able to really execute that calmly, clearly, right? So we're moving from that local environment or connections, and you're owning your inner voice. You're becoming more confident. So this eclipse broke something mentally so something bigger can take place. Cancers, that week brought a lot of tension, and it really did. Your mind was being pulled in 4-5 different directions. The eclipse really came to expose and clear up those habits that will no longer support you as you are expanding in your identity, your visibility, your career, your provocation. It questions your belief systems, right? And then we had the ruler of this eclipse retrograding in Pisces in the 9th house. So the Mercury retrograde suggests that those answers involve you revisiting beliefs, things that you have, said to yourself privately in conversation, or realizing something that you misunderstood, or seeing where faith or trust was misplaced. And you're really searching for the bigger meaning of these situations here. Because the 3rd and the 9th house axis is one of the most important in astrology. And it's because it governs, knowledge versus wisdom. The 3rd house asks, what happened? The 9th house asks, what does this even mean? So you have the eclipse and the retrograde partnered up here. It forces both questions simultaneously. And honestly, Mercury's in detriment in Pisces. Because Pisces absorbs, Pisces blurs, Pisces don't see things clearly sometimes. So again, your thinking can still be a little foggy right now, and that's okay. Take the time, write them down. And as I'm speaking of writing, prompt time. First prompt. So Cancers, are your daily habits and the way you feel, the way you're thinking, are they aligned with the life you say you want? So think back to the first week of March. What habits, thought patterns you suddenly realized you couldn't carry into your future anymore? Think about all of that. Take some time. Again, just write it down in your notebook. Let it kind of filter or just kind of, marinate in the mind before you try to answer a question. You don't have to force these questions or force these answers as I'm bringing them to the forefront. It's just for you to kind of sit with them and see what they're saying over time, right? See what comes out over time, I should say. Because while all of that was recalibrating, while your mind was recalibrating, your career sector started to ignite. Venus opens the career portal. This is where we are now. On the 6th, Venus moves into Aries. She enters Aries. And this rules the 10th house for you. So we're talking about career, reputation, authority. But Venus did not walk in that room empty, honey. Saturn was there, Neptune was there, and Chiron was there. And she's going to be meeting up with everyone as she is moving through Aries. Saturn is structure, authority, time, karma, responsibility. Neptune is purpose, vision, spiritual calling. And Chiron is in the 10th house, is playing out as career wounds, visibility fears, trauma around being recognized. So Venus entering this space is not just about charm and attention, Cancer. Okay? And although the 10th house is career, public image, reputation, and status, and the way the world sees you, and Venus governs what? Relationships, beauty, money, opportunity, social favor. But in Aries, it is not Venus's comfort zone. It is not. Aries move fast, bold, competitive, and unapologetic. So Venus here behaves less like romantic charm and more like visible magnetism and ambition here, Cancer. So right away the thing becomes your desirability becomes public, Cancer. And I'm going to break this down, because what I mean by this is this transit will have people notice you. They will find you attractive because of what you are building. People will find you attractive, Cancers, because of what you are building. I'm going to let that roll around in your skull for a moment. Your reputation becomes magnetism here, Cancers. Career doors start to open up through relationships or admiration. And a little side note, be careful and mindful of a office romance, please. But let's continue. Just want to say that. Look before you leap on that one, Cancers. But back to the program. But Aries brings initiative. So Venus here is going to reward those who move first. So if you want the opportunity, introduce yourself. Again, have the elevator speech ready. Practice, perfect it till you're comfortable with it, and go. And take all of that confidence Jupiter has been peeling back while it was in retrograde. Because as I'm speaking right now, Jupiter is stationed direct. Just stationed direct. So you're ready. You are more than ready. So again, if you want it, say something. If you want the opportunity, introduce yourself. And as I mentioned before, she did not enter that room solo dolo. So as Venus moves or transits through the 10th, she will conjunct Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, and she will be squaring Jupiter on the 18th before exiting. So, when Venus meets Saturn, it often brings serious relationships or career themes, Cancers. Possible manifestations include relationships tied to status or stability, someone older or established, mature, or authoritative, right? This type of person starts noticing you. Your career recognition, it comes in, but it does come with heavier responsibility. Again, this is career. This is what's going to be a part of who you are, your identity. This is literally your legacy and your identity merging. Your career will be a part of your personal brand, right? So again, Venus here, as she's transiting and conjuncting with Saturn here, you will be refining your personal brand. Because with Saturn and Venus, it's filtering Venus through the lens of, because Venus is about attention, right? So with that Saturn flare, that Saturnian themes being filtered here, so instead of many admirers, Cancer, it brings quality over quantity, which is a good thing. And then with the Venus conjuncting Neptune, Neptune dissolves boundaries and heightens creativity, fantasy, glamour, spirituality, and projection. So that's something that you definitely want to be careful with as Venus is conjuncting Neptune, because in the 10th, this can be extremely powerful, Cancer. It creates mystique around you, around your public image, around your brand, around your aura. So this aspect can bring creative career opportunities, artistic visibility, and or media or aesthetic recognition. Again, Venus is all things beauty. And you conjunct that with Neptune, these two merging together, people are just going to think you all that in a bag of chips. Give them what they came here. Give them what they came here to see. Are you not entertained? Give them what they came here to see, Cancers, okay? But again, Neptune does come with a warning. People may project their fantasies onto you, Cancer. So don't let someone put you in a box based on what they think you are or think you can do, or try to hold you accountable to something, or have these expectations out of you because they are projecting based off your amazing mystical aura. So the combination of Saturn and Neptune here is where your dreams meet structure, where your vision meets structure. And then we have Venus conjunct Chiron. Let's get into it. Chiron represents wounds, healing, vulnerability, wisdom through experience. And when Venus meets Chiron in the 10th, it can bring confrontation around those themes, around recognition, around your visibility, around you taking sovereignty or authority in a certain situation here. Give me one moment. Let me move this. Okay, perfect. Move it over there. Okay, yes. So it can kind of activate those themes, those wounds, for you to heal that. Also, this can also talk about, again, Venus is value, what you value. So it could also bring up wounds around how much you feel that like your salary or what your services should be rendered, right? So healing things around that too, or feeling like you're not good enough. So it can be bringing all these things up to the forefront here. Old insecurities about your reputation or recognition. You know what though? I really love how Venus is going through the 10th house and conjuncting with Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, because it's breaking everything down at one time. It's going to be heavy, but at the same time, breaking it down because you want the structure, right? You want the serious people. So if you got people coming at you that are serious, that means you have to be serious with yourself. There is no cutting corners. It's going to bring quality candidates. It's going to bring quality job offers. So you have to see yourself as quality first. And that's why I'm loving how Venus is conjuncting with Chiron, because it's going to talk about that. It's going to make you confront that. How do you value yourself in these very public places where you will be, recognized? And it doesn't mean that you can't make a mistake, because you can. But even if you, in the event that you do, how will that alter how you see yourself, how you value yourself? Will you think you deserve less? So again, I'm loving how Venus is contacting these planets that are literally reshaping your legacy, reshaping the next 30 years of your life, and going in there immediately at the beginning and dealing with the structure, the quality people that it's going to bring into your life. And it's such a beautiful transit as these things are happening here. Because with this Venus in Chiron conjunction, it could literally bring in people who want to help you, who admire you. They admire your resilience. They admire, see, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to always get it right. You don't have to always be perfect. It doesn't diminish your value. What matters is what you do after. Are you going to get back up? Because just like I just said, it will literally bring in people who admire you for your resilience. Did that exposure to that wound, did it make you go in hiding? Did it make you step up? Did it make you want to go after it even more? And those are going to be the kind of people who are going to be watching you. So you want to get back up. You want to ask the questions. You want to learn more as you're preparing your legacy, your provocation, your public recognition. What people are going to, this is what's going to be synonymous to your name, Cancer. And then now we have Venus square Jupiter in Cancer on March 18th. Let's get into this one, because this is where the emotional intensity ramps up, Cancer. When Venus is in the 10th, squaring Jupiter in the 1st, the tension becomes who you are versus who the world wants you to be. Oh, this is so good. Because this square creates growth through friction. All right, camera died. Look, Mercury retrograde be Mercury retrograde and Donna, and this thing was charged. But we are back. But as I was saying before, the square here, it creates growth through friction, Cancer. Bottom line. So this could manifest as balancing personal needs with public opportunities, being pulled between career focus and emotional priorities, attention from others becoming overwhelming for you, and big opportunities that require bold choices. As I said before, Jupiter amplifies everything Venus touches. It will. So here, this square can bring public praise, romantic attention, career opportunities, and increased visibility, Cancers. But it also can push you to ask, is this success aligned with who I really am? Venus moving through Aries here suggests, Cancers, that you are being noticed for your courage and independence, not just your softness. Because Venus in Aries in the 10th is a universe saying, step into the spotlight, but make sure the version of you the world sees is authentic. That is authentic, Cancers. So it's time for another prompt. Are you ready? So prompt here is, where are you being asked to take yourself more seriously? Why are you thinking or hiding your charm? Why are you hiding your charm? Your wit? And you also finally admitting to yourself about the lifestyle, about the career. Right? And so now that Venus has come through here and she's activating that 10th house even more, right? With regards to what you value, about the themes of the 10th house, and how you're going to start showing up as a result of that. Again, prompt, let it marinate. And while all that is happening, dun dun dun, as I said before, Jupiter is direct. Jupiter has stationed direct, Cancers. Jupiter is direct. And I'm just so excited about it. I really am excited about Jupiter stationing direct. And when I tell you, people like, and the crazy part about it, because again, I'm getting off topic here because Jupiter will be transiting to Leo. But for you, that's still good because that's your second house of money and resources. So it's going to expand your money. It's like your identity gets expanded. Now your money gets expanded even more, the second part of the year. But let's continue. As I said before, Jupiter has stationed direct. Spirit fingers! I love this. I have a marker on my hand, so I was like, did you see that? That was marker, yeah. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about this Jupiter stationing direct in Cancer in your first house, right? So this is a very powerful movement shift, right? Jupiter is exalted. As I said before, Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. So when it shifts from retrograde to direct, this marks a very noticeable energetic pivot, Cancers. Oh my God. Because when Jupiter was in retrograde, everything was inward. The expansion was happening inside. So that period brought reflection on reevaluating your beliefs about yourself, redefining your identity, questioning what success or happiness actually looks like for you, what that means for you and to you. So you're asking, who am I becoming? That retrograde growth was really psychological. It was emotional as well as philosophical, because again, it's expanding your identity. So you think about the influences that you've had over your life in the last 6 months. What has that looked like? Who have you been gravitating towards? Right? So think about all of that as well as we are moving and shifting through this shift of retrograde and direct. Think about those influences. Think about who has had an impact on you and what you have kind of incorporated into your identity, into your brand now, because it's station direct. It's go time. It's time to go. So now that Jupiter has stationed direct, the growth starts moving externally. People start to see this glow up. People start to see, the new improved you, the increased confidence, the increased readiness, speaking your mind, owning who you are unapologetically, Cancers. So now the world begins to respond to you differently, because you've had time to kind of internalize what your confidence will look like. And it's happening right before we enter into spring, right before things start taking off. And I have been so excited about this for months. Like back in November, back in December, I'm like, I cannot wait for Jupiter to station direct. Oh my God, we're gonna have so much fun here. And you really are. Because now you're so comfortable with who you are. It's like people are responding to this lighthearted fun. They're loving your aura. They're loving your vibe. This is about your identity and your identity getting this upgrade. So again, with whatever Jupiter is amplifying. And so, I don't know what's going on with this daggone battery, but we're going to get through this, okay? And so again, as I was saying, all of that is so important because, you were building the foundation before the expansion. And so all of that energy that you were having to internalize with Jupiter being in retrograde, it had you ask those questions about your identity, who you're becoming, who you want to step into the spotlight as your 10th house is being lit up and it's pushing you out there. Your identity is going to upgrade with that. So Jupiter being retrograde allowed you time to kind of plan, map out, really see who you wanted to be and how you were going to show up, right? And so now that it's stationed direct here, Cancers, this is your growth again starts to move externally. People start to notice you, right? People noticing your presence more. Doors opening up that reflect your new identity and your new way forward, your future here. And in the first house, Cancers, Jupiter direct often looks like personal momentum returning. So the question shifts from who am I becoming to how big am I willing to live now? Another prompt. So, where are you finally trusting yourself again? Again, where are you finally trusting yourself again? And this is so important because what comes next is Mars conjunct the North Node in Pisces in your 9th house. This is destiny activated through action. And that's why, do you trust yourself? And where do you trust yourself? Because Mars, again, is about action. It's about drive. It's about initiation. taking the initiative. You stop thinking about the path, Cancers, and you start walking it. You start walking it. Because here, Cancers, once you become clear on who you are and you trust yourself again, now you're ready to take action from your own inspiration. And I was going to flesh out this full month. I really was. But there's so much going on in March. I thought I'd stop here and we'll pick back up with the new moon in Pisces. That is going to be some amazing energy as well. So we're going to be picking back up next week with that lunation in Pisces in your 9th house. And I cannot wait to see you over there, Cancers. Okay, we are going to wrap this up. I don't know what is going on with this battery, but we're going to wrap this up. As I was saying before, I wanted to close here because I felt like this was such a lot of information. I was going to flesh, March all the way out, but I'm going to come back next week and we're going to be talking about, we're going to be picking up with that lunation in Pisces, as I said before, in that 9th house. And this is going to be so important because right around that time, Mercury does station direct. And it's really going to be go time. All of this is happening right before spring starts. Okay? So just to kind of, do a quick recap on the arc that's been building cosmically for you, right? January rebuilt your foundation. February aligned your beliefs and value. And now March is holding a mirror up so you can have a moment of honesty with yourself, Cancers, okay? Does the new identity and beliefs reflect what you believe now? What you value, your legacy, your daily habits and routines are going to have to reflect where you're heading in the new you. So you can't even do things in your old habits or your old routines because they're no longer serving you. They're no longer helping you, elevate into this 10th house powerhouse that's going on for you right now regarding your career, your public recognition, your legacy, right? What you're leaving behind, what will be synonymously attached to your name. So, you've cleared your habits, Cancers. Your future just could not carry it, as I just explained. So you're reclaiming your confidence. You have been questioning. You are stepping into a career path that demands more of you. For some of you, this is what you've been waiting on. You cannot wait to show, what you were made of. For others, you may be realizing I thought I wanted this. I don't want this. And it's okay because you have so much time to dream a new dream. You have so much time to get in alignment with what you really, really wanting. Again, this has marked a 36-year reset. The Saturn and Neptune conjuncting and partnering up in your 10th house, right? Again, Saturn is going to be in Aries, your 10th house, for 2.5 years. So there's no rush on this. Don't feel like you have to rush and jump into something, especially when you don't have clear plans, especially not right now with Mercury retrograding in your 9th house of big picture thinking, travel, philosophy, expansion of the mind, expansion of your beliefs and faith. So you still may be struggling with that. Again, these are just letting you know why you're going through what you're going through. These transits, these aspects are not happening to you to destroy you or collapse you or, wanting bad things to happen to you. They are really working with you. And if you work with them at the speed that they are moving, you will be ahead of the game. You'll be on time. Again, getting out of that 3rd house of repeating things over and over in your mind that's keeping you stagnant. You're smart. You can pivot. Again, you are a cardinal sign, so you're ready to get it popping anyway. So it's really time to step into that. Of course, Cancers, go check out Patreon. Everything's in the description box below. Go check out Patreon. All of the astrological cosmic readings with our transits and our aspects can be found over there. If you're really ready to do a deep dive and go back so you can catch up, you have all the videos from December, January, February, and now as I'm posting for March, so you can get yourself caught up with everything, okay? And do that homework. The most important work you will ever do in your lifetime is work on yourself. So take the time to go over to Patreon to explore the platform over there. Really great information. And as always, my babies, vibe high, and I will see you next time.